I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Lindsay.
And this is What Makes You Fangirl, the podcast where we deep dive into all things One Direction and unpack the moments that turned us into lifelong fangirls.
Throughout the series, we are following One Direction from their X Factor beginnings to global superstardom, unpacking albums, inside jokes, and the chaos that made history in a nostalgic rewind for anyone who's ever loved something a little too much.
Last time, we talked about Larry Stylinson and when fandom crosses the line. And today, we're talking about when the industry crosses the line.
Yeah, because tell me why I log into my Ticketmaster at 9:30 a.m., join the waiting room, and then get placed 200,000th in line at 10 a.m. And by 10:07, the only tickets left are official platinum seats for $937.
Disgusting.
Horrible.
But today we're asking, is this just simply supply and demand, or is the concert ticketing system fundamentally broken?
We're talking Ticketmaster, dynamic pricing, resale chaos, scalper laws, streaming economics, accessibility, and whether seeing your favorite artist has become a luxury product.
And we say all of this as people who love live music. That's the whole point. We care. So buckle up.
But before we get into that, let's kick things off with our favorite segment, What Makes You Fangirl This Week.
As always, this is where we fangirl about current obsessions, small or big. Think of it as a little warm-up before we dive back into One Direction history. So, Lindsay, what's making you fangirl this week?
So, mine for this week is JADE, the artist. For anyone who doesn't know who JADE is, she is a former member of Little Mix, so another X Factor band story. They were also put together on the X Factor. However, unlike One Direction, they actually won.
They did.
Slay. And they were a girl group for some time. They were incredible. One of the best girl groups, I'd say, probably ever. They did struggle a little bit to find success in America and like US, which is unfortunate because they could have been insanely the same scale as One Direction.
Oh yeah,
because they were so good. They're actually more talented than One Direction,
voice
wise, dance wise, insane. But they have their own drama as well with members leaving, and that's not what we're getting into now. But all this to say, they are now solo artists, all of them. And JADE recently had a show in Brooklyn, which I went to, and she is actually insane. Like, her performance was incredible. She's obviously so talented, but vocally, she's incredible. She's a great dancer. But not only that, she's really theatrical. Like, the show is really fun to watch. Like, she is different, it's almost like her album's called That Showbiz Baby. And so there's like a little, stage set, and she has the song Angel of My Dreams, which she closes on, and she's like these angel wings on and like arrows in her chest. And it's just like a very theatrical performance. And it was so good. Like, I have not stopped thinking about it since I was there.
That night.
Because she was like, the only word I can use is insane because it was so good.
So good. Oh,
like,
I'm so jealous.
I would recommend anyone, if you get the chance to see her, you should, because it was incredible. And like every song, it almost like, I will say the crowd was interesting because it was almost given, not that I've ever been in a German nightclub, but it's what I imagine the crowd is like at a German nightclub. Like, and that's not a positive or a negative thing. That's just the vibe I was getting. Also, everyone was really tall and I'm short, so it was hard for me to see. But that's a comment on people's heights, not the show. The show itself was insanely good. I cannot say enough good things about it. I am obsessed with her. Her performances of like, she sang Wasabi, first of all, for the mixers out there. She did sing a Little Mix song. Wasabi is like so fun.
Oh, I love
That one
Wasabi.
went triple platinum in my
Oh,
household.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And but her album is actually incredible if you haven't listened to it. Like songs like Church and Lip Service, and I'm trying to think of which other ones were like really good. Plastic Heart or Plastic Box is the song. Angel of My Dreams, obviously. There was one that I'm like, I'm forgetting one. There was one that I was like, anyway. It was just the dance moves. She has like, and it's like one of her first solo tours, especially here in the US, I think. And so it's not like it was a massive production. Like, we're not at a stadium. This was at like a theater. She only had like 2 dancers, and yet they made it so good. Like,
it was the clips that you were posting. I was like, oh my gosh. She's so freaking pretty too. Like, I can't handle it.
She's gorgeous.
You're
She's
lying.
talented. I can't even deal with it.
Yeah.
It was
That's so exciting.
everything you want a concert to be. It was really fun. And there's this part where she's also interactive with the crowd. Like, she talked to people about their outfits. Like, she recognized someone up front who was dressed as her from like 2012. And she was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Obviously a lot of angels for her single Angel of My Dreams. But then she also she sings one song from a balcony. So she like goes into the actual
that's cool.
like theater, like into the crowd. And although, I mean, security like moved people out of the way, so they weren't like right next to her, but she was like at the back for that point. So she's like really interacting with everyone, and her vocals are just
insane.
I can't even, like, actually insane.
I love
and
that.
on her pre-show playlist, she had Perry's songs and Leanne's songs. So we love when they support each other.
Icons, queens, love them.
So cute.
I also love when artists are very interactive with the crowd as well as having like a big production.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like a lot of the time it's either you get either or, where it's like more like interactive show and like less production heavy, or it's like very production heavy and
like you get Taylor Swift, the Eras tour, or you get Harry Styles running around but also talking to people. Whereas like Jade was kind of like both, because she put on like an insane like theatrical amazing performance with like choreography, etc. But she also talked to people and like went into the crowd, and so it was great. It was the best of both worlds.
I love that.
And you didn't hear it from me, but Little Mix is more talented than One Direction. So any chance you have to see them live, you should see them.
No lies were told. We support women over men always.
Oh yeah. They're just better.
As we have like One Direction there,
giant men right behind me, but I digress. Anyway, that's mine. So everyone streamed That Showbiz Baby by Jade. But what is yours this week, Kelsey?
So mine's a little different. A little backstory. I'm not very much of a sports girly, like at all. Like I just have never cared.
I get it.
I went on Friday. I went to a hockey game.
You went to the Boy Aquarium?
I did. It was so exciting. So like I have read far too many hockey romance
for someone who doesn't like sports.
Yeah. And I think that's what like made me interested in wanting like to go. So like me and my friends, we were like, let's just go. Like, how fun would that be? Like just to go and not know anything and just, you know, be there for the vibes. And I've like been to hockey games before, but I've always been like super far away. Like it's like you can barely, they're like little ants skating on the ring. But we were like third row, like from the glass, and that was really fun. So we got to like see them smash their faces against the thing. But it was like we got there, and then we decided that we were gonna be fangirls for the opposing team.
Good,
because we felt bad that they didn't have anyone cheering for them. So we were cheering for them, and they were also more attractive.
I mean, that's important, obviously.
Yeah, but I have found a new love for hockey. Hockey's really fun. It's intense.
Good sport.
It really is.
I know more about hockey than I want to, because
you worked.
I grew up, my family, like my brother and my dad love sports. So I just was in one. You don't have brothers. You have a sister. When you have a brother who's into those sorts of things, you tend to hear about sports even though you don't want to. And they always talk about sports. But hockey was one of those that my family really like supported growing up. I was born in California, so my family supports the San Jose Sharks. So I grew up going to like Sharks games, and then I've just always been around like sports talk and hockey. And then when I moved to New York, I actually worked at Madison Square Garden, so I worked like for the Rangers technically for a while. So I've seen a lot more hockey than like I ever thought I would, to be honest. But it's actually probably one of the best sports to watch. Like, I despise watching things like, I hate football. I refuse to watch football.
Yeah.
I won't watch anything boring like golf. But hockey is actually a fun sport to watch.
Like, I feel like the entire game is like action packed. It's not like there's no settled down moment almost. Like,
and they're like little ice princesses. They're just
really
like skating around.
Graceful, actually.
Yeah. And then, but they're like graceful, but they also get to fight in hockey, which is awesome.
Oh my gosh, there was a fight right in front of me. I'll have to send you the video. I'll put it in here.
Oh my god, yeah. Put it in here.
I'll put it in. But oh my gosh, it was so funny. I was like, woo, go fighting. Fight.
But it's like, it's better than, because I don't like boxing or MMA.
Oh,
I think that's like too much. But hockey, it's like, it's just a little tease. You just get a little bit of it.
Just a little bit, and then they get broken up, and then they're like back to being fun. Yeah. So now I really want to go to...
You should go to an LA Kings game.
Yeah, I was like, I want to go to an NHL game. I'm a sports girly now.
Yeah,
but only specifically hockey, because
sports.
Everything else doesn't intrigue me at all. Hockey was fun.
And as we know, heated rivalry is also making hockey.
That was the
thing of the moment.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to go to a hockey game. I was there and I was like, when are they gonna kiss?
When do they kiss? When does that happen?
So much, there's so much sexual tension in hockey.
There is, and when they do the stretch where they're like on their knees.
I loved it.
Anyway, enough about the hockey boys, but good sport. Of all the sports that exist, that's one of the good ones. Yeah. So hockey tickets, like live music, are also very expensive. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning of the process. Like, we're just going to go through it. There's the queue, because that's where the trauma begins.
Here's what's actually happening. When you enter the waiting room before a sale, everyone who is there before the official sale time gets randomly assigned a spot in line once the sale opens. It is not the first come, first serve if you're early. That is not truth. Like, whoever says that is lying. So if you joined at 9:30 and someone joined at 9:59, that does not mean you're ahead of them. It's very randomized.
Although I do have an unproven theory that accounts are like tagged on the back end with specific queue ranges, because it seems like people that get low numbers always get low numbers, and people that get shafted with the 200,000 plus spots always get really high spots. Yeah. No matter the sale. So I don't know. I feel like there's some back end, like, not even like not intentional. They're not like going in and being like, Lindsay deserves to be 200,000 in line, but like just whatever process is happening on the back end, I feel like it's tagging, but it is random is the point. I've tried all of the things. I've tried joining right before. I've tried joining 30 minutes in advance. I've tried refreshing. I've tried not refreshing. I've done all the things, and it's just, there's no winning.
Yeah, it's very random. Because then like you used my account to try for Harry for some certain nights. Yeah. And I mean, they weren't the highest, but they were not 1,100.
But then I have like one of my friends, shout out Haley, thank you for buying me tickets to things. She seems to always get under like 4,000.
That's
always.
Crazy.
And I can't remember the last time my account was under like 50,000.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, crazy.
But anyways, Ticketmaster says the queue exists to prevent the website from crashing under massive demand, which is fair. Millions of people can hit a sale at once, so that is fair. But what people don't always realize is not all tickets are actually available at 10 a.m.
Yes, there are many different layers. There are artist presales, venue presales, credit card presales, VIP package allocations, tickets held for production or sponsors, official platinum inventory, fan club allocations, etc. So when something sells out in 7 minutes, that doesn't necessarily mean every seat in the building was available to the general public at that moment. The inventory is layered.
Yeah. And then there's bots. Scalpers use automated software to buy large blocks of tickets instantly. Ticketmaster says it blocks billions of bots attempts per year, but I feel like a lot of them are still getting through. So,
and I totally love that they're trying to stop them, but they need to do it correctly, because how come my account has been flagged as a bot like 5 times in the past month? Yeah. I, like, anyone who's tried to buy tickets to, like, the Harry sale specifically who's listening to this, I'm sure you've been hit with the, quote, your browsing activity has been paused because it thinks you're a robot. And then my account was paused for, I think, 12 hours. Like, I couldn't even use it.
Yeah. Which is crazy. And like you have multiple events that you've gone to on your phone, like on your
Yes.
Ticketmaster specifically, like
Which is why it bothers me too, because I'm like, you have my history.
yeah.
Why aren't you treating my account better?
Yeah. The amount of money I've given to you
is actually disgusting, and I don't want to think about it. So when you're 200,000th in line, you're competing with real fans, but you're also competing with people who have zero intention of attending.
which is frustrating.
But, you know, we'll get into that
Yeah.
later.
Yep. But let's zoom out a bit because the queue is just a symptom. In 2010, Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged. Live Nation was already the largest concert promoter in the world. They organized tours, worked directly with artists, and operated or had exclusive booking agreements with major venues. Ticketmaster was the dominant ticketing platform. So when they merged, Live Nation Entertainment became a vertically integrated giant.
So what does that mean? It means one company now promotes tours, manages artists, operates or controls major venues, and sells the tickets.
So if you're an artist planning on touring, here's the reality. If you want to play a major arena or amphitheater, many of them are either owned by Live Nation or have exclusive contracts with Ticketmaster. So even if you don't love Ticketmaster's fees or structure, your alternatives may be very limited if you want access to those venues. That's what people mean when they say monopoly.
Yeah. Like maybe, you know, clearly he doesn't, but let's say Harry Styles had a problem with the ticket industry and he was like, no, Ticketmaster is the problem. Let's not use it. But like, you want to play Madison Square Garden, you have to use it. Like, you don't have a choice. So technically, Ticketmaster doesn't control 100% of the ticketing. There are competitors like SeatGeek and AXS, but Live Nation controls a massive portion of large US concert venues and promotions. That vertical integration is what raises antitrust concerns. The Department of Justice has actually investigated Live Nation in the past, and there have been ongoing political discussions about whether the merger stifles competition.
Yeah. So now we need to talk about the villain of the story, dynamic pricing. If you don't know, dynamic pricing means ticket prices fluctuate in real time based on demand. Just like airline tickets or hotel rooms, if demand surges, the algorithm raises the price. These are often labeled as official platinum.
And this is important because these aren't resale tickets. This is the primary market, which means Ticketmaster and the promoter are raising the price before the ticket ever hits a place like StubHub. And those seats aren't VIP. They're not meet and greet. They're not better chairs. They are literally standard seats priced at what the system predicts fans will pay. Meaning that you could have paid $937 for an official platinum seat, and the person right next to you could have paid $250. Yeah. There's no difference.
Yeah, which is crazy. Supporters argue if a ticket is going to resell for $800 anyway, why should a scalper make that money? Why shouldn't the artist and promoter capture that revenue? But critics argue that this turns concerts into luxury auctions, and removes affordability entirely.
So the question is, why is this even allowed? Why can a company just decide mid-sale that your $199 ticket is now $549? The reason is dynamic pricing is legal because it's simply variable pricing. There's no law in the US that caps how much someone can charge for a concert ticket on the primary market. As long as prices are disclosed before purchase, it's considered a standard business practice. Which also, side note for everyone, we are talking about specifically the US ticket market. This is not a global. Yeah. I mean, it happens globally, but we're zooming in on the US right now.
Yeah. And it is important to note here that artists have to opt in to dynamic pricing. Artists and their teams approve whether it's enabled. Ticketmaster provides a tool, but it's not automatically forced on every tour. That's where accountability gets a little bit blurry.
Yeah. So when we're mad at Ticketmaster, we also have to acknowledge that artists, or at least their management teams, are part of that decision. Literally, an example, Olivia Dean. I have a friend who works at CAA who they manage tours. They're like the agent representative for tours. They ask every time if an artist wants to enable that. So we can blame Ticketmaster. There's a lot of parties at blame, which is part of the problem, but the artist does opt into it. So if you're saying, oh my God, Harry cares about me. No, he doesn't. He's greedy. He allowed that to happen. And even if you're like, oh, it was his team instead, it's like, okay, sure, maybe, but he's still a part of that. There's the problem. A recent example is Olivia Dean, actually. She said no to dynamic pricing, but I think it was the situation where that didn't get fully communicated, so there were, like, official platinum tickets, and she actually made Ticketmaster refund her fans that paid $700 for tickets instead of the price it was supposed to be, which is great. Thank you, Olivia Dean, for actually caring.
Yes, caring, yeah. And I just want to make it clear, like, we both obviously love Harry more
Yes.
than I probably love people in my real life. But
Facts.
it is, like, frustrating to,
Mhm.
like, see that as a fan.
Yeah.
And especially, like, a fan of live music in general. It should not be, like, a class war
Mhm.
at all. It should be accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Live music is for everyone. It's not just for people who can afford to spend
Yeah.
$800 for one ticket. That's where it gets, like, starts to get a little bit
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, like you said, it's a question of, like, it brings up accessibility. It changes who gets to experience a concert, which is important because a concert isn't an economic transaction, it's a cultural space. So
Absolutely. Whereas, like, I would say majority of fans, especially fans of Harry and, like, the younger generation, especially in the economy right now, like, a lot of us can't afford to, like, drop that amount of money
yeah.
just for funsies. Like, I shouldn't have to, like, think about, like, oh, can I pay rent this
Mhm.
month if I buy this concert ticket? Like, that shouldn't ever
Yeah.
have to
Like,
be
there's
a
a
thought.
there's a line because obviously you want an artist to make money,
Yeah.
but you also want to be able to experience it without going into
Yeah.
debt. Like, there
Yeah.
is an element of, "Oh, this is like a special experience, I should save up," but that doesn't mean I should save up $5,000, it means I should save up, like, 500, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because and then I mean, maybe we'll get into this later, but Harry's tour specifically being in one
Yeah,
state in the United States.
that is on
Yeah.
the the docket to discuss
Like,
as well.
I just want everyone to, like, if you're not from the United States, to, like, this is the big picture. My flight from LA to New York City is the same amount of time as it is from New York City to London,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
So that's the scale of, like, how big the United States is, and I'm, like, just wanna make it clear, like, to people in other countries, like,
Yeah,
that's
people that are like,
why it
"Oh
is
my god,
frustrating.
I live in North England and I have to travel to London." That's like a few hours
Yeah,
by car
yeah.
or train, whereas in the
Like,
US,
I
you have
live
to
yeah,
fly 6 hours
yeah,
to get from one side of the country to another.
yeah, and that's not including, like, if you have to have layovers, like, it could be
Mhm.
a
It can be
friggin'
a
12, 13-hour day
yeah,
of traveling just to get to the other side of the country.
yeah, exactly.
And, like, if you're driving, it's, like, weeks of driving. That's the scale of, like, how big the United States actually is and, like, why it's also frustrating, like, as someone who lives on the West Coast.
Yep.
And which it is, like, very a little bit hypocritical of me because I am flying there. But, like,
But
I
it's
am lucky, though.
you're allowed to
Yes,
2 things
criticize,
can
but
be
also,
true at
like
once,
yeah.
like, you can still do
But
it, but be upset about it.
I also have, like, a better end of the deal, like, you live there, like, I
Yeah.
don't have to pay for a hotel,
Mhm.
like, essentially, my trip is getting the flight there and my food for the time while I'm there, like, I don't have to pay for lodging, which
Yeah,
I
which is
would say
another
about 99% of the people who are flying there would also have to do.
yeah.
But let's talk about resale a little bit because this is where it gets messy. Ticket resale scalping is legal in most US states. There used to be stricter anti-scalping laws, but many were repealed or loosened in the 2000s under arguments about free markets.
Mhm. In states like New York, laws require tickets to be transferable. That means artists can't fully block resale even if they wanted to. Artists like Noah Kahn, for instance, he tries to always implement face value exchange, meaning that the tickets are not transferable, but if you can't go, you can put it back up on Ticketmaster for exactly what you bought it for. But there are states that prevent this because it's illegal to not make it transferable.
Yeah.
So they can't enforce it everywhere. States where this is protective include Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, New York, Utah, and Virginia. What an interesting mix. And of course, 2 of those are the places I live, Colorado and New York. Thanks a lot.
What a great day to live in California.
Finally, California.
Be it something. And here's another uncomfortable reality. Ticketmaster also operates its own resale marketplace, which means they collect fees on the original ticket sale and then they collect fees again when the ticket is resold. So sometimes both the buyer and the seller pay fees.
So the same ticket can generate revenue multiple times, which means the system doesn't necessarily discourage this flipping, like they're making a profit.
Yeah. And then you have platforms like StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, the secondary market. Some resale is genuine. Life happens. People can attend. But large scale scalpers treat tickets like investment assets.
Yeah. Like, let's nerd out for a second. Let's talk about math. If a ticket originally sells for $150 and a reseller lists it for $600, that's a 300% markup. And that happens constantly for high demand tours. Large scale resellers use software to buy hundreds of tickets across multiple accounts. Even if only a portion of them resell at a huge markup, the profit margins can be massive. Like, if they have like a block of bots that buys 200 tickets at face value $200 each, but they mark them up, it's a lot of tickets, but it's $40,000 investment. But if you resell even half of them for $600, you've already doubled your money.
This is unfair because regular fans can't compete with bot speed. Fans are forced into resale because primary inventory disappears. Fees stack twice, and there's no cap on markup in most states.
And here's the thing, like we said, resale itself isn't evil. Like, if you can't attend, you should be able to sell your ticket. But the problem is the profit-driven resale at scale. So what further complicates this, even more than it already is streaming changed the music economy. So artists earn fractions of a cent per stream on platforms like Spotify or Apple Music. Unless you're generating massive numbers, streaming revenue alone does not sustain a career. On average, artists earn somewhere between 0.003 and $0.005 per stream on major platforms. So to make $1 million from a streaming alone, you'd need hundreds of millions of streams.
Yeah. And that's gross revenue before splits, because that money gets divided between labels, publishers, songwriters, producers, managers. The artist doesn't just pocket that. So where is the real money being made? Touring.
For a lot of artists, touring became the primary income stream once sales collapsed in the streaming era. However, touring is also incredibly expensive. You have crew salaries, bus drivers, truck rentals, fuel, flights, hotels, stage production, lighting, sound, insurance, venue rental, security, merch production, taxes.
Yeah. And for smaller artists, like 1,000 to 3,000 capacity venues, these margins can be razor thin. Like, there are artists who are selling out rooms and still barely breaking even because production costs have skyrocketed in the last few years. Fuel costs went up, labor costs went up, equipment costs went up. Yeah, they're barely breaking even selling out venues.
Yeah. Some mid-level artists have even publicly said they lose money on tours, but do it to maintain visibility, grow their audience, and support their band and crew. But let's break this down into 3 tiers quickly.
So, tier 1, small developing artists, modest ticket prices, high relative production costs, limited merch margins, often dependent on tour guarantees or label support, vulnerable to cancellation risks. For them, raising ticket prices by $5 or $10 can literally determine whether a tour is financially possible.
Yeah. Tier 2, we have the mid-level artists, so theaters and smaller arenas. They can turn a profit, but usually not astronomical. They are still sensitive to cost spikes, often rely heavily on VIP packages to boost margins. This is the group where you see a lot of creative pricing strategies, VIP add-ons, acoustic soundcheck experiences, merch bundles, because that's how they stabilize income.
And then tier 3, stadiums / mega artists, massive production budgets, massive ticket demand, enormous gross revenue, significant negotiating power. And this is where the conversation shifts, because a stadium tour grossing hundreds of millions of dollars is not operating under the same survival pressures as a 2,000 capacity theater run.
So yes, touring became the main revenue stream because streaming doesn't pay like physical album sales did. But there's a difference between mid-level artists raising prices to survive and stadium tours charging $1,200 per seat because the algorithm says you'll pay it. One is sustainability, the other is market optimization.
Yeah, and fans definitely feel the difference. We understand when an artist we love is trying to keep the lights on, but what feels different is when prices start to feel extractive instead of necessary. And the irony, the biggest artists are often the ones who can afford to experiment with more fan-friendly models. They have the money to do it. And then there's accessibility. Obviously, the costs are limiting who can attend shows by pricing out certain demographics. In this economy, like we talked about earlier, I have to pay rent, buy groceries, get car insurance, pay for my car that I have to buy.
Yeah.
And more. Like, that's not even like putting a dent into
that's not
how
even
much
all
we
the
have to
things.
spend. Yeah. Salaries are lower than they should be. And now on top of that, to get an ounce of joy, my most favorite thing in the world, like going to see live music, I have to drop $500 to see my favorite artist. Like,
yeah.
What is that?
And yeah, this is what we were discussing before, but to quickly recap, it's not just the ticket pricing. Many artists are shifting to residency-style tours rather than traditional routes that visit many cities. So if you live in a smaller market, your ticket is not just a ticket. It's flights, hotels, time off work, transportation, and more.
A $250 ticket can easily become a $1,200 weekend. And that's like very low end.
Yeah, that's being generous. It depends like where you gotta go.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like Harry last time did New York, Chicago, Texas, LA. Like there were at least regional options.
Yes.
This time the US is New York, and that's it.
Yeah. Which is one of, if not the most expensive city in this in this country.
Yeah.
So like that $1,200 does not even include like food that you need to eat to survive.
Yep.
Which is also very expensive. Like you could easily spend a couple $100s on food just being there a couple days. Yeah. Very easily.
Literally.
So live music used to feel communal. Now it sometimes feels like destination luxury.
Yeah. What can we do about it? That's the question that we're getting to.
What can we change? Okay, deep breath. What can actually change? Let's break this into levels. Structural, market, artist accountability.
First, structural reform. The Live Nation Ticketmaster merger created vertical integration that concentrates power. So one potential fix is stronger antitrust enforcement, meaning either stricter regulation or potentially breaking up promotion, venue ownership, and ticketing into separate entities. Because when one company controls the tour, the venue, and the ticketing platform, there aren't many competitive pressures to lower fees. Yeah. It's like, example, EpiPens. I'm allergic to wasps. And actually, I will say this has changed a little bit. But a few years ago, EpiPens, one company owns the rights to make an EpiPen. Literally a life-saving device. So they can charge whatever they want because no one else is making them. So they can be like, yeah, this EpiPen is $300 and you have to buy it because if you don't, you're going to die.
You're going to die, yeah.
Like, insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Also, fee transparency should be mandatory. The price you see should be the price that you pay. Airlines had to do it. There's no reason ticketing can't.
Yeah. This is being seen a little bit more and more. I mean, it's still like kind of a shock when you get to check out in Ticketmaster and you see the fee, but at least it's like it is there. But I also think fee transparency should be like just across the board because one, we should be able to see in advance. I should know how much I should have to spend before the sale opens. Like, why do I not know the price until I'm literally in the sale
and checking out?
And then like, I think that pricing transparency would also help fix some of the official platinum things because you should be able to see if the seat next to you is $199. So then you can be like, why am I paying $800 for this same seat? Like, I want you to show me what each seat was priced at. Come on.
Yep.
So there's that. But the second tier is resale reform. Resale, like we said, is not inherently evil. If you can't attend, you should be able to sell your ticket. But you should not be able to turn a concert ticket into a stock portfolio. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Like, face value exchange should be the standard. You should be able to resell your ticket, but only at or below the original price that you bought it for. Because this profit-based system incentivizes bots, hoarding, and artificial scarcity.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I've sold tickets, like resold tickets before. Never once have I charged. So, I mean, sometimes if you're selling on like StubHub or whatever, to make
you have to price it up.
Yeah, to make back what you originally paid, you have to mark it up a little bit.
That's a whole other issue too.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that. But I have never once been like, I want to make a giant profit off this. Let me add $300, $400, $500 to what I originally paid.
Yeah, which
just so
I actually like
have joy.
Recently, I was talking to someone, and I do have some extra hairy tickets. Stay tuned. Just kidding. I did. Luckily, I ended up with a couple extras so that I could, give them to people. But someone I was talking to was like, "Yeah, you should just list it for like $1,000." And I was like,
"No."
It's like, no, I'm I'm against doing that. I shouldn't do it because I think that is the problem in the first place.
Yeah. You can't make change if you're actively acting on what you want to change.
Yeah.
So.
And like, listen, part of me wants to do it. Like, yeah, like I would love to make $1,000, but
yeah, but not at the price of like somebody else's joy being priced
problem.
at. Yeah. Someone else's joy being priced at $1,000 just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, agreed.
Because like that's why we go to live music in the first place, is because it brings you joy, it brings you that sense of community. Like, to put a price on that at $1,000, that takes away community and love for live music.
It's actually the reverse. The reason that I bought more is so that I could be the one to resell them at the price that they are.
Yeah.
So that scalpers wouldn't do it.
Yes. Like, you were able to do it.
I'm a reverse scalper. I'm what I call a reverse scalper.
You did it so that you could give someone a chance who didn't get in.
Yeah.
The chance
like,
to buy
I want
it
my friends or people I know to pay the price. I mean, it's still expensive, but the face value price, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But bot enforcement also needs teeth. If we can detect fraud in milliseconds for credit cards, we can figure out how to stop mass automated ticket purchases. I think the issue is that they don't want to because they also make money off of it.
Exactly. And then there's dynamic pricing. This is where we need some clarity. Artists, as we said, they do opt into it. But like, if you want your ticket to cost $1,000 because the demand is there, like, okay, but say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Like, own it. The frustration comes from the like blame ping pong where fans are like, oh my God, it's Ticketmaster. And then Ticketmaster is like, no, it's just market demand. And then the government says, but it's capitalism. And then artists are just like quiet. And when responsibility is diffused, nothing changes. Like, we need it. We need accountability.
We need clearer accountability. If pricing caps are chosen, say so. Like, don't beat around the bush because you're afraid of what your fans are going to think when you should be afraid of what your fans think.
Yeah, you should be afraid because you should do what's right.
Right. Like, that transparency builds trust between like artists and fans. Like, there needs to be clear accountability and transparency in all aspects.
And also, pre-sales need to mean something again. Because a sale is not exclusive if 11.5 million people can sign up. Yes, Harry, Madison Square Garden, I'm looking at you because that is not a pre-sale.
Yeah, that's just a sale. And then
that's a regular sale.
Two general sales.
Yeah.
Pre-sale access should prioritize actual fans. Listener data, past purchase history, fan clubs, verified engagement, bring back codes, bring back smaller controlled pools. The whole point of pre-sales was to reduce competition, not simulate the Hunger Games 3 days early.
Yeah, but here's the uncomfortable truth is that the system works, obviously. It generates enormous revenue, it sells out shows, it maximizes profit. So from a business standpoint, it is successful.
Yeah. The question is whether success should be defined purely by revenue or by accessibility, because concerts aren't just commodities, they're cultural rituals.
Yeah. So, what would you change? Would you cap resale at face value, ban dynamic pricing, break up Live Nation? Or do you think this is just capitalism doing what capitalism does? And if that's the case, like, are we okay with live music being a luxury product? Because once access shrinks, the culture shrinks with it. For me, my solution to this is, I think the core issue is profit-based resale. If you remove the ability to flip tickets for a profit, you remove the incentive for bots, which will also then remove hoarding and artificial scarcity, and it will remove the chaos in the queues because bots aren't going to be in there. So like face value exchange should be enforced nationwide. I know that there are laws that protect it. I get that. We need to repeal those and we need to do face value exchange. And I'm not saying face value has to be cheap. Face value can mean whatever the artist wants it to mean, but I think that it should be the artist that sets the price transparently. Like if an artist wants to cap tickets at $150, fantastic. If they want them to be $900, that's their call. Make your bag, but like you should own it. And
you should,
like I said earlier,
hide behind.
Like responsibility is so diffused that no one is accountable. So like fans are the ones refreshing their screens in tears. I literally cried over this recently. And we just need to like Harry Styles, if you want $1,000 from me, ask for it. Look at me in my face and ask me for $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, And maybe I'll be like, sure, have my $1,000. If that's what I saved up for, if that's what I want to spend my money on, fine. But I want you to say it with your chest. I
But
don't
I
want
should
all
be
of this
able,
blaming.
yeah, I should be able to have that transparency of like, oh, this thing that I want to do is going to be $1,000. So let me
start
like setting that aside.
Save up for it.
But to then be like, okay, I'm announcing tour, and then these
That's
tickets
another
go on
issue.
sale. Yeah, that's a
We
whole
used to
other
have
issue.
time. Why in the past 5-10 years has it been like, I'm announcing a tour, sales next week? Like, what do you mean?
Hello? And then that also that issue is a problem with the pricing of the tickets because he's been gone for 3 years.
3.5 years, yeah.
With no indication of coming back. It was very surprise, I'm back. In 3 years, you could do a lot in which you spend your money on, and you don't know when he's coming back. Some people saved because they knew he would, and some people were just I think
the argument is you always know theoretically that an artist will eventually tour, so if you want to save up for it, you should, but I don't know, that's a separate problem. Yes, have a savings account if you can. Save up. I mean, that's what I did. I have a savings account and I use that for experiences like this. I'm not a parent. I'm not a homeowner. I'm not paying for child care and or a wedding or any of those things. So this is what I save my money for, but obviously that's not the reality for everyone.
Yeah. So it is very frustrating because I would say a good portion of people today are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
So then to be like, oh, my favorite artist is going back on tour. I really want to see it. Okay, tour dates announced. Only going to New York City. And these ticket prices have doubled from last tour.
Yeah.
And they're going on sale next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to talk about the pricing specifically, Harry Love on Tour pit tickets were about $250.
Yeah.
This time, face value, so if you could get it not official platinum, the lowest was $433 with fees. Technically, it's $350, but it's $433
with fees
because with fees.
Yeah. So I love him so much, and I don't think that he's doing it maliciously. I don't think that's.
I don't think it's malicious, but I think that he could do something about it.
Absolutely, I think it is more so a little bit out of touch. Yeah. And this is not just Harry, at all. This is what's most fresh in our brain. Noah Kahan's tickets were
even after Noah Kahan has insisted that he tries to do that, and they were still expensive.
Yeah. I shouldn't have to pay over $200 for a nosebleed tickets at a stadium where I can't even see you. Yeah. That feels excessive. I've said this before, and it's, it's they're out of touch. They don't have a concept of, because now they're so big, which is not necessarily their fault. They built this up. They have the right to, be rich. Yeah. That is because they worked hard and did it. But now they don't have a concept of how regular people are actually living. Mm-hmm. They're oh, $1,000? That's freaking pennies to me. Yeah. So when they're out of touch like that and they're oh, I could make more and more money, it turns to look more like greed. Yeah. And I hate to say they're greedy because I love them, but that's what it looks like. It looks like you're greedy and you want more money, which is fine. Yeah. But be transparent about that.
Yeah. It's hard because living in the US, obviously capitalism is the ultimate goal. And I agree with parts of capitalism. I think that it makes sense because you need to strive and work hard and earn, and you deserve those things if you work hard for it. Yeah. Yeah, there's obviously it's just an ethical question, a moral boundary, where is the line?
Where's that line? Yeah, where is it? And I don't know that it will ever get any better.
Yeah, I mean, because we said, the issue is that all of the people that are benefiting from the system, they continue to benefit. It's in their eyes, it is a very successful system.
Oh yeah, because they're making tons of money off of it on top of their already tons of money.
And I mean, I'm admitting this right now, to being part of the problem, because we want to go so badly, we are willing to pay for it. Even though it's gross, I will drop the money to be there because I would like a slice of joy. in this otherwise
like
dreary
that's what
life.
that is what my life, that's what I like to do for fun. Other people, go out and party and go to clubs and bars, and like that's where they spend their money. People are getting married, having children, that's where they're spending their money. Like I want to spend my money on live music.
Yeah.
But now my, toll of how many shows I can see a year has significantly dropped
continues
because I can't
to drop.
afford it.
Yeah.
So it is.
So
it is frustrating.
a hot topic these days, and it like you said, it's not just like Harry. It's not all the 1D boys. Louis does a pretty good job of doing his best to help. Again, I still think he can be out of touch as well.
Oh yeah.
But like his MSG tickets were $200, and you can't argue about scale for them this time. It's the same venue.
Yeah.
They're not
MSG
playing
to MSG,
different venues. It's MSG
200
to MSG,
to 400.
200 to
like
433.
they were like $200 after fees.
Yeah.
So,
but like, it's everyone's the problem though. Noah Khan's the problem. I just did a Hillary Duff sale. That ticket was like over $250, somewhere around there.
And I understand supply and demand, but it gets to the point to where the only people getting the demand is rich people, and like that's not what live music and fan communities are about. There is no judgment. Like people are rich, that's great. I love that for you, but it shouldn't be just them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
when Harry said we belong together, I like all the memes that were like he meant the 1%.
The 1%.
Kiss all the time, disco occasionally, but only with the 1%.
Only with the 1%. And we say all of this with immense love for Harry. And
we love live music.
Artists,
we love all the artists. I will still be in the pit. You'll see me there. Like
we finna be in the pit.
We finna be in the pit. We're just, as a country, this is a system that is fundamentally somewhat broken, and we could fix it. Maybe.
We could. The only way I honestly could see it being fixed is if everyone boycotted it and nobody bought tickets, but that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I think the solution, like the boycott's just not going to happen. Like it's just not going to happen. I think the solution would be the government has to step in, but it has to be like the government of people that like actually care, not the government
but then,
as it is
then
right
you
now.
think about it. Yeah, you think about it as like that's not the government's one priority.
No. I mean, it's not. And the government at the moment is, what's the word we're looking for?
Not great.
But point being, maybe the government one day, if they care enough, if the right people are in office, they can make some changes to at least somewhat rectify.
I also think that if, like Louis has been more active about saying, like more fans need to be working in music.
Mm-hmm. More fans should work in music, man. Like that is like yes. Oh, I always wanted one of them.
That's a fucking bar right there.
I always wanted one of them. I mean, look, like these people live and breathe these projects. It's so important to them, and like at least my feeling with the fans, this is like a mutual endeavor. We're doing this together. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them, So, and also the young minds. Young minds that haven't been too tainted yet, and they do it just for the passion. There's so much.
It's pure, it's beautiful.
As I said, there can be a side of the industry that occasionally feels a little artificial.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. And those things, I think, at least for me, that whole concept of having more fans in music. I've got a couple of people that work with me like loosely. But I'm trying to find more ways to integrate them like that.
That is also a way to
totally. Like if fans are the ones helping, if they're on the artist teams and someone asks, should we turn on dynamic pricing? No.
Yeah. Like we have that experience, we have that background of knowing, like that's also a way to, step in and help the issue, is more fans being able to work in the industry, but also that is very hard because we're also looked at as,
I think that's shifting a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, it is definitely.
It's definitely moving in a more positive direction.
Oh, absolutely,
so 100% more fans should work in music. Yes. And that's that on that. To sum up, the modern ticketing market isn't built to get fans into rooms. It's built to maximize revenue per seat. Live music is one of the last truly communal experiences we have. And right now, it feels like access to that experience is tiered. And, we're a little bit tired.
Fangirling should require passion, not a payment plan.
Facts. Next time, we're diving into the Midnight Memories era. Everything from Best Song Ever, Who Remembers, Refresh, Not Replay, obviously.
Refresh, not replay.
And their movie release, as well as the album itself.
So make sure you're subscribed. Leave us your thoughts on the concert ticket market in the comments. Do you think it's fair? Were you able to secure Harry tickets? Let us know. We want to know.
Yeah. And remember, life's too short not to freak out over the things you love. It's totally okay to fangirl a little too much. See you next time.
See ya.